Hello, hello, and welcome to Metaphysical Happy Hour. I'm your co-host, Cassie Clayton, and
I'm your host, Tracy Escobar, also known as the Red Couch Medium. Welcome back to another show live on Facebook and YouTube. How exciting. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing
Yay.
good. Busy, and
Yeah.
I am preparing to leave my house tomorrow morning at 3 a.m. So
Nice. Gotta love those early morning trips.
yeah, early morning flight going
Fun
up
time.
to, but I am actually very excited because the trip itself does have the spiritual tie-in. I am going up to Lilydale for my company, and I have had the pleasure of working with Lilydale for a while now, helping them with their websites and things like that. And so this weekend I actually get to go up. I get to see I've never been.
Yeah.
So I got to go visit. One of the board members invited me up, so I'm gonna go hang out and see what Lilydale is.
All about the magic of Lilydale. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a pretty remarkable place. It's a cool place, so you'll have a good time. So enjoy.
Yeah.
Yay. So shameless plug time, I guess. Is that what it is? Shameless plug?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything going on for you besides
Um,
Lilydale?
just been mostly just been working, growing. There are a couple things that I'm not quite ready to release yet that I've kind of been working on in the background. So once that is finalized and fully set, you all will be the first to know. So yeah,
Good.
very exciting.
Well, good. Congratulations. So I've got a class coming up this weekend at Miracles of Joy, my psychic development and my mediumship development class. And then also we had a workshop last weekend that was super, super good. So I've opened up some mentorship. I have 4 mentors now under me, and I have room for 2 more by September 4th. So anybody interested in learning and developing, just DM me and I will send you the details. But really, it's kind of, and I released my new, I don't know what you call it, but it's a gift box, I guess you would say. So I released my new gift box. So that's now on my website. It comes with my book, a signed copy of my book, a journal, a deck of cards, and a small gift for me. So that's now out there. So and it's very, very, very reasonably priced at $50. So take a look and go out there. But that's it in a nutshell. So who's our guest today?
So today we have Nick. I'm gonna mess up his last name.
I know.
Sorry. So sorry, Nick. It's Nick. I'm just gonna bring him on. Nick, come on in.
Hi, Nick.
Yeah.
Hello. So it's Kidawski.
Okay. I would have messed that up too. I've been a Kidawski. Love it. I'm going to try it again. Say it again one more time, Nick.
It's Kidawski.
Kidawski. Okay. You see it like so, it just comes right off your tongue. Kidawski. Okay. Hi, Nick. How are you? Welcome to the
Hello.
show. So, what is Nick? Do we have a bio on him at all? Nothing?
So Nick's company is Cultivating Wellness. And we, so Nick helps women on your podcast.
Women get over heartbreak.
Thank you.
How many of us need that? Oh, look at who I've got. Hi, Kelly. So people are going to start coming in. I'm just going to say hi. And because I know some of these people, I know why they're here. So they need you, Nick. They need you badly.
Awesome.
So we're glad. Yeah. So Nick does what? Healing for women who've gone through heartbreak and divorce. Yes?
Yes.
Nice. Well, welcome to the show. How would you even get started in that, Nick? Like what leads a man to wanting to help women heal?
Yeah, so the work that I do with women, it's helping them after they've been struggling for months or even years after a breakup or even a divorce, helping them to really connect with their heart's wisdom so that they can move past the negative thoughts and memories that they're having about their ex. They can really start to rebuild that inner sense of self-security, and they can quickly get back to their life. And I got into that work because, well, really for 2 reasons. So the first reason is when I was 21, one morning I was lying in bed And my brothers had gone off to work, and I woke up and I heard my parents talking in the kitchen, and it kind of cracked open the bedroom door a little bit. And I heard my mother say to my father, I want a divorce.
Ah.
So, I was the only one that knew that, and we ended up having a family meeting, later on about it. But that really had a strong impact on me because I saw just how physically and mentally and emotionally that was very difficult for my mother and my father. And I didn't really have the tools at that time to help them.
Aw.
And also myself, I've just been through a number of breakups. I've been cheated on.
Yeah.
So I really have a lot of compassion for people that are in that situation. And as far as working with women, really simple. I just enjoy working with women.
I love it. I love it. And there's so many of them, or us, I guess they're an us. Hi, Nikki. How are you? Who are out there who are stuck in the mud. Do you see a lot of that in your practice? Like a lot of women who just can't move forward? Like I see that in my own clients that I have. So I'm a psychic medium and I have clients too. And a lot of them are coming and a lot of them just can't seem to get moving forward. They are so stuck in the quicksand. And
Mhm.
so first mom to ever hear that. I was like, first man to ever hear that. Oh, so we have already comments coming in. So yes. Talking about you helping women heal. But what do you tell women about being stuck? How do you get them to move forward? Do you have like a technique, certain steps you make them go through? Like what's your process in helping them?
Yeah, so what I find is that usually after a breakup or a divorce, they'll sometimes feel a lot of grief or sadness
Yes.
because memories and thoughts about their ex will come up. And because of that, they honestly just find it hard to get their ex out of their head.
Yeah.
And there are physiological reasons for that,
Is there?
and then energetic reasons for that. So I
Do
can
tell.
definitely talk about
Do
both. Yeah.
tell. I think we need some aha moments so we can all figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the physiological reason,
Okay.
there's a connection between the heart and between the brain.
Mhm.
And what scientists and researchers found out many years ago was that the heart sends 4 times more information up to the brain than the brain back than the brain rather does back down to the heart. So the heart is kind of the boss,
Oh,
and the heart's rhythm is in direct connection to the emotions that we're feeling.
okay.
So after a breakup or a divorce, when a woman is feeling sad or rejected or anxious or
Yeah,
overwhelmed,
yeah.
what's happening is her heart is sending a very erratic signal up to her brain. And what that does is that keeps her stuck in like a fight or flight
Fight or
mode.
flight. That makes sense.
And when she's in that mode, it's really hard to think clearly, to make decisions, to kind of see a way forward.
Mhm.
So when women come to me and, they say, I can't get my ex out of my head, I feel stuck, that's part of it is that, again, their heart is sending this very erratic signal up to their brain, keeping them in this, fight or flight or survival mode.
So good to
Now,
know.
yeah, so the
Mhm.
really good news is that you don't have to stay stuck in that state. You can actually do a very simple technique that I'd be happy to coach both of you on and your
Yes,
audience on
please.
called heart focused breathing. And there's actually a lot going on with this heart centered technique. I could probably talk to you both about it for the next half hour.
That much,
But
right? Yeah.
yeah, but to keep it really simple, when you're doing that technique, you're changing that erratic signal from your heart going up to your brain to a very calm, smooth, coherent signal. And what that does is that syncs up your heart and your brain.
Oh,
It helps you to start to balance your nervous system.
which is important.
And it also helps you to start to get out of that fight or flight state so that you can start to make better decisions and
Yeah.
you can start to see opportunities and you can start to see a way forward from your breakup or your divorce that you might not have been able to to see before.
Love it. I think personally I would love it and my audience would love it. So we'd love to
Hmm.
learn. Do you want to go ahead and do it? Want to do your technique?
Yeah,
All right, let's do it.
yeah, sure, I'd be
Yeah.
happy to.
All right.
All right, so when you're ready,
Huh.
you just want to go ahead and start to slow down your breathing. So just finding a nice, easy rhythm that works for you. And then go ahead and you can just bring your attention down to your heart or your chest area. And if it's comfortable for you, you can even put your hand on your heart or your chest area. And you just want to really make a sincere attempt to connect with your heart. And when you're ready, as you breathe in, you just want to imagine your breath flowing into your heart or your chest area. And when you breathe out, you want to imagine your breath flowing out of your heart or your chest area. And if you find that you kind of go back up into your mind and it wanders a little bit, it's okay. You can just bring it back down to your heart and just continue with this heart focused breathing. And we can just do that maybe for the next couple of seconds. And I'm curious, how are you both feeling now? Maybe what you're noticing in your body or noticing in your mind after just a couple of seconds of doing the heart focused breathing.
Yeah, I feel like calm. So I feel like if my mind slowed down is what I feel.
Hmm.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. My body wants to react because it's not comfortable. It wants to have a cough attack, but that's okay. I think that's normal. It's like trying to put me back into fight or flight, but yeah, I do feel calmer.
Yeah.
Hmm. Good, good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, so that's a really simple technique that
Okay.
your audience can do anytime they find themselves stuck in their head about their ex is bring their attention down to their heart, start to do the heart focused breathing, and that will start to calm their mind,
Mhm.
just like you experienced.
Right. And it does work. Eh, It's interesting how breath is so important, right? And regulating it and having a straight. So
Hmm.
yeah, I'm learning a lot about the breath work too, but it does bring you a sense of peace and calmness if you can get into your own rhythm and your own breath work. So I encourage anybody out there to pick up a breath work class if you haven't tried one already. I just did one and it was amazing. So there you go.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love that. And I'm also learning a lot about the heart and the brain disconnect too. So I'm just going to give this
Hmm.
little nugget out to some people. Like it made a lot of sense when I came across this in my reading recently that the heart is where our intention is. It's where we hold our love, our compassion, and our empathy, right? And it beats a certain way. But then you have your brain, and it is set to protect us. So we are constantly, that's where we go into fight or flight, protection mode, overcompensating, triggering, right? So it's so weird because it is a disconnect. One is one energy and one is a different energy. And that's, so it makes it really hard in healing because you're dealing with two different levels of maybe emotion and healing. And so just putting that out there for people too, because I think knowing there's this disconnect and knowing why it feels so, I guess, erratic and crazy helps, because it helped me, okay, to compartmentalize just a little bit. Maybe I'm feeling this way because my mind is in protective mode, right? Or maybe I'm feeling bad and hurt because my heart has these intentions. So just wanted to kind of get that little nugget out there as well. That kind of goes right along with this whole breath thing that you've just done in your technique. What are the three systems for your heartbreak? Like what are your three? I think there's a 3-step system in your program, right? What is that?
Oh, yeah. So I offer a 3-step, 3-month program called From Heartbreak to Wholeness.
Oh,
And so the first step of that is to find out where you are draining your energy
yeah.
as it relates to your breakup or your divorce, because you can only drain so much energy until you're pooped out. You know, you
Yes.
you literally have no energy to move
Mhm.
forward.
Mhm.
So I work with my clients to do heart-centered techniques to really plug those energy drains in the moment
Okay.
so that they can start to renew their energy and feel better. Also, along with that, I do a type of energy work called the Ivana method, which I can talk about a little bit later on.
Okay.
But with the Ivana method, in that first step, what I do is I neutralize all of the past stored emotions that a woman will hold around her heart when she's been through a breakup or a divorce. So
Okay.
when those emotions around the heart are neutralized, that's kind of like wiping the slate of the heart clean, and that allows for deeper healing to take place. So now that they understand where they're depleting their energy, they've started to plug some of those energy drains, and their heart is a clean slate. Step number 2 is teaching them more heart centered techniques to start to renew their energy.
Okay.
So just like you were saying, Tracy, the heart has these beautiful qualities of kindness and
Mhm.
compassion and
Mhm.
patience.
Mhm.
And those heart-centered qualities, they're number one, always within us. And when we go through a breakup or a divorce, I think those heart-centered qualities kind of just get covered over, with some of the mental or
Yes.
emotional pain that we're feeling.
Yes.
So, when we start to tap into our heart's intelligence, we can start to tap into those renewing heart qualities.
Okay.
And what that does is it renews our energy so that we are really able to start to move forward and heal. Along with renewing with having those renewing feelings, rather, I do Avana method energy work to mostly re-exchange the energy between my client and her ex.
Okay.
And that's different than cutting energetic cords. So I don't cut energetic cords because I found that they eventually always come back.
Do they?
Yeah. So with the re-exchange of energy, it's giving my client back all of their energy that they had in the relationship and giving their ex all the energy back that they had in the relationship. And what that does is that really kind of brings a peace to my client
Does
where
it?
they can think about their ex, but there's no longer a strong emotional charge connected to those memories. So, whether that strong emotional charge is feeling angry or feeling sad or feeling anxious or feeling overwhelmed. So, now that they understand how to tap into their heart's wisdom to feel those heart qualities, to renew their energy, and we've done the re exchange of energy between them and their ex. The third step is helping them to tap into their heart's intuition.
Okay.
And this is really exciting for my clients because once they start to tap into their heart's intuition, they start to discover that a lot of the answers that they were looking for outside of themselves, through reading books or, watching YouTube videos, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
a lot of those answers are already inside of them.
Yeah.
So they really learn again to tap into their heart's intuition to start to understand, okay, in this situation, what's a better attitude that I can have? Or what's a simple action that I can take to move forward from this breakup or from this divorce? And their heart's intuition, it's sometimes it can be subtle, sometimes it can be a very simple answer. And their heart's intuition, it comes to them in many different ways. Sometimes they hear an answer, sometimes they see an image, sometimes they kind of feel the answer in their body. We're all intuitive, as you know.
Yes.
So it's again tapping into their heart's intuition, tapping into their heart's wisdom. And then we do more Vata method energy work for
Mhm.
whatever other concerns might be coming up for them, because the body heals in layers. So, it's kind of working through those layers one by one. So, yeah, so that's my 3-step system from heartbreak to wholeness.
I love that. Can you go over your Avana method? Because I think that's fascinating too. I'm on this healing journey too. So anything you can teach us, we want to hear about it.
Yeah, sure. So the Ivana method, anytime we go through a challenging experience like a breakup or a divorce,
Okay.
it's hard to process or to release all of those emotions.
Yes.
So they have to go somewhere and they get stored in the body. And
Yes.
they get stored due to the emotional response that we have when we go through a challenging experience. Now, what's really interesting about that is, I'll give you an example. So I worked with a client a couple of days ago, actually,
Hmm.
and she came to me because every single time she thought of her ex, she had been out of the relationship for 2 years, she just felt this sadness come up in her. And so when I was doing the Vana method energy work, she was in her 40s
Okay.
and the age 18 came up. So I told her, or I asked her rather, did you have any sort of stressful experience at that time? And she said, oh, yeah, I was in a relationship. There were commitment issues. This person broke up with me. And she felt that similar feeling of sadness at that time. So what happened is when she went through her current breakup,
Mm-hmm.
she still was holding that sadness in her body from the age of 18.
Okay.
And when she went through her current breakup, she applied those stored emotions that were deep in her body to her current breakup. So that's the way that it works. So I did a re-exchange of energy, between her and her ex.
Okay.
And when that happened, she said that she felt a lot lighter.
Okay.
which is a good sign because that means that her vibration was raised, it was higher.
Mm-hmm.
And she said that she felt a lot less sad.
Okay.
So, and so that's kind of one example of work with the Ivana method, but
Okay.
there are other different things that, that it can address as well.
So in simple, is it like an energy healing method? Is that what it is?
It is, it's energy
Okay.
work. Yeah.
Energy work. Perfect. I'm trying to put it in a box in my head. And I was like, okay, what box does that
Sure.
put in? Okay. It's energy healing work. Perfect. I've been learning so much too. And does it concentrate on stored trauma in the body? Is that where it's concentrating on? Or on
Uh,
emotional? Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah, primarily. So, I mean, it really works at all different levels.
All levels. Okay.
So, yeah, so physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically.
Okay. All levels. Yeah.
Hmm.
I've just been recently learning just how much, and maybe you can talk to this since you're the expert, how much our body stores our trauma. Like I have found it so interesting because I just recently it kind of opened up to the physical part of the healing process, right?
Hmm.
And so I had no idea how much trauma gets stored in our cells. Why is that? Like
Hmm.
our body remembers? Like what is it the energy gets trapped because we never released it? Like what is that? Do we know?
Yeah, so, the energy gets stored
Yes.
because there's just so much going on in a traumatic situation that it's hard for us to like process and to feel and
Okay.
to either release or integrate all those emotions. With that being said, when there's a traumatic or an overwhelming experience,
Right.
there can sometimes be like survivor's guilt,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't be here, you know? And what I usually tell clients is that when we store those emotions in our body,
Yeah.
it's a very intelligent decision of our body to do so. So, I mean, just think about a past
Mm.
stressful experience that you've been through.
Yeah.
I mean, it was stressful enough, number one, but just think about if your body had to take the time to process all of the, I don't know, tens, hundreds of emotions,
Right.
that you felt in that experience,
Okay.
how completely overwhelming that would be on top of the traumatic experience that you're already having, right?
Right.
So the body says, okay, in order for me to survive this, to get past this, I need to store some of those emotions away for a little while
That makes
so
sense.
that I can get past this and move on. What happens is those stored emotions stay in the body though, sometimes for months or years. And then when we go through our next overwhelming or traumatic experience, we recall those stored emotions in our body and apply them to the present situation. So, what the Avada method does is it finds exactly where those stored emotions are
Yep.
and it brings a healing energy to them
Okay.
so that it starts to bring balance to the different levels of the body again.
Fascinating. Yeah.
Hmm.
I love that. I love that. And all this can be done virtually?
Yeah, so I do all of my sessions over the phone. Just keep it pretty simple.
That's so simple. Over the phone. Not even on Zoom, just over the phone.
Hmm.
Ah, very nice. All right. So if anybody's looking to book a session, please reach out. I wanted to put out there too, just so everybody who's listening at Facebook and YouTube, if you want to ask a question, if you've been through a really traumatic heartbreak experience and you want to pick Nick's brain, please do so. Ask away. I have a friend who's really struggled to get over hers. And so just watching that pain, and it's been years and years that people get so
Mm.
stuck that they can't move through. And I feel like they just keep replaying these cycles in their head, and they just can't jump off the loop. And that's just kind of where they're stuck.
Mhm.
Right. Right. So it sounds like your healing method helps get them out of that loop. Right.
Yeah, and that's a really big reason too for them for bringing them back into the connection with their heart, because
Mhm.
our heart, it's really our emotional core, it's really our authentic self.
Okay.
And when we have an unmanaged mind, the mind can be so kind of so mean towards us, you know
Yes. Yes.
but if you think about it, your heart is always gentle, it's always
Yes.
kind, it
Yes.
always has something nice to say, you know?
That whole
So
difference.
that's,
Mhm.
yeah, so that's why in those difficult moments
Mhm.
when we've, kind of racked our brains, so to speak, of how can I get past this? What else can I do? And it's like, I don't know what I can do. That's
Yeah.
when people say, well, listen to your heart, right?
Right.
But with these heart-centered techniques, it's like, well, why wait for all of that time to go by? Why not just listen to your heart in the first place?
See, there you go. What do you tell people, like, because there can be resistance, like people can say things
Mhm.
like, right, resistance is big. I'm sure you see it. Like,
Mhm.
for instance, this friend I have, we talk about therapy and things like that, but even in her mind, therapy wouldn't even work, right? Because they know what they know, that they know how they feel in their head, that they don't think anything
Mhm.
will work. So are you up against resistance like that?
Yeah, so part of that is really, well, it can be two things.
Okay.
So number one, I would guide them into their heart
Okay.
and help them to send themselves compassion.
Okay.
And after doing that for a while, the body starts to recognize what that compassion feels like, and it kind of gets locked into the body.
Okay.
So, like I was saying earlier, these heart qualities in step number two, once you start to access them, they can be very, very healing. Uh, the other piece is with the resistance.
Yes.
Uh, and by the way, when I work with women around that, there's no judgment there. It just is what it is.
It is,
It's
yeah.
totally okay.
Okay, good, yeah.
Uh, with that resistance, that's where I use the Ivana method to
Okay.
say, okay, where is that resistance for you? Is it in your physical body, mental body, emotional body, spiritual body, energetic body? And then going through a couple of more layers and finding exactly where that is. And then again, bringing a healing energy to it so
Okay.
that the energy of that resistance can be neutralized
Yeah.
and they can start to move forward.
It's all about neutralizing the energy, people.
Hmm.
It's funny,
Neutralizing.
as Nick's been talking, one of my cats has come around and he just came and sat right in front of the heart chakra. So
Because even the discussion is so
yeah.
calming and peaceful, right? There's an energy just about your discussions about it, right? That's so calming and peaceful and
Oh,
heart
thank
centered.
you.
Yeah. I think we all need that. We all struggle. Like there's this, a big push of self-reflection, and just, how many of us struggle to even manage our emotions. So this even helps
Hmm.
with anything, not just a breakup, not just what, like, even just being triggered in a moment, going back to heart centered and going back to self, and taking some breaths and taking a minute, right, to get your breath under control and to go back to where the heart space is, so that you react out of love and not out of fight or flight and protection. So I think it's really good
Hmm.
and can be used for many different things, right? Why do you think,
Yeah.
did they focus on just the heartbreak, or is it all encompassing? That's your niche, because I've never heard of it. So I'm asking questions about it. The Avana method.
Oh, so with the Ivana method, I mean, I primarily work with,
The women, yeah.
with the heartbreak, with the
Right.
divorce.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, but I mean, my teacher that I studied from, for example,
Yes.
she's helped people with, chronic pain and nerve pain and dental issues. And,
Got it. Yeah.
she herself, she does a lot of work with people with PTSD.
Does she? Okay. Yeah, that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense too. Yeah. I think Kelly has a question. Can we put Kelly's question kind of up there?
Yep.
How does this work if you have ADHD and stay focused and choose not to be medicated? It's so hard to stay focused to do these kinds of things. So yes, sounds like she's struggling with just sitting still, being quiet, breathing, going back into the heart. So some people just can't
Mm-hmm.
control their brain. Any advice on that?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, a couple of things. If you have difficulty focusing on your heart,
Yeah.
you can kind of practice gradually getting there. So, what I mean by that is like you might focus, if you're sitting down, you might focus
Mm,
on your foot and just notice how that feels. And then bring your attention up to, your hand and notice
okay.
how that feels.
Okay.
And then bring your attention up to your heart and notice how that feels. The other thing with this is
Hmm.
the wonderful thing about heart focused breathing is that
Hmm.
you can do it as many times a day as you need to.
Okay.
So you could do it, 20 times a day if you want to.
It's not going to hurt
Just
you.
practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just practice bringing your attention, to your heart.
Okay.
And like I was saying earlier, the heart centered techniques, they help to bring the nervous system back into balance,
Yes.
and they help
Mm,
to calm down the brain.
yeah.
So, both of those can be really helpful for ADHD. So, Kelly, I would encourage you just to maybe watch this interview a couple of times and really get the heart focused breathing. And, just keep on practicing it over and over and over.
Mhm.
And, I'm confident that you can get this technique, and I'm confident that you'll do great with it.
Yeah, I am too. Practice, just practice, right? You'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have the same thing about meditating when we try to get them to meditate because their brain is all over the place. It just takes practice.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're teaching it something new. 21 days to a new habit, right? So just
Mm-hmm.
work on it every single day. And it does work. And it's amazing how dysregulated we are all walking around being. We just don't realize it. So I think this is perfect. I know when I did the breath work exercise outside the plunge, so before plunge, just doing the breath work, just the hard breath, the hard breathing and panting. I had a hard time regulating that and getting into a rhythm. It's just fascinating
Mm.
when you try to do it. You can really see how unregulated you are. So I encourage everybody to do it. I think it'll help and it'll work. There was something that you wrote down that is another part that you do to help people is self-love. So why is that important? Why is
Mhm.
that piece important? Tell us.
Yeah, sure. And I'll say really quickly about the heart focused breathing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a little bit kind of deceptive, I guess, because it's really more than a breathing technique. So, what
Okay.
you're doing when you're doing it is you're actually creating a state of coherence in the body. And that's different than just a state of
Breathing.
relaxation.
Okay.
So, when you create a state of coherence, you're syncing up your heart and your brain, and you're using the powerful field of your heart to
Mm,
actually get both parts of your nervous system in balance and your
okay.
other body systems.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, so when
Mhm.
people meditate, they might feel more calm. So that's decreasing the sympathetic nervous system.
Right.
But the heart focused breathing, it actually brings the sympathetic and the parasympathetic
Okay.
into balance so that they're no longer kind of like fighting
Fighting.
against one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But to answer your question about the self love,
Yeah. Self-love.
so when we go through a breakup or a divorce,
Okay.
what I've found just personally in my own life and with the women that I've worked with, the self-love, it's not that it goes away, it's always there, it's always accessible, but it just kind of gets covered over, or it gets diminished.
Okay.
So I have a simple exercise that I coach them on called the daily self-love exercise.
Oh
And
yeah.
so what they can do is, every morning when they take a shower, they just want to practice, touching their body and giving their body all the love that they can. And so at first, this might seem kind of weird or kind of awkward,
Right.
but the more that you practice it, what happens is it's really cool. That love over time starts to build and build and build. And it's like your body starts to like soak in that love like a sponge. So it's a simple way to start to rebuild your self-love after you've been through, a devastating breakup or a divorce.
Love that. I think self-love is so important. That's a great, great, great
Mhm.
technique. So good job. Good job. Um, I might practice for people too. Another way you can go about self-love that I like to teach is to like find
Mhm.
5 things every morning that you actually love about yourself. I know it, and it's hard. Like after day 2, you stop finding things. So keep going. So just find those little things and remind yourself that you're worthy and what you do love about yourself. And it's super
Mhm.
important too.
We did have another question as well
Mhm.
with Sandra. She is asking, is this like the emotion code method? Which I'm not familiar with the emotion code method, so
Oh, yeah.
you are.
Uh, yeah, Sandra, that's so awesome that you brought that up because previous to doing the Ivana method, I was actually an emotion code practitioner for a number of years.
How are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so for your audience, the emotion code, it's a way to find those stored emotions and then release them.
Okay.
The Ivana method is different because the Ivana method, it's not releasing anything. It's actually replacing, it's actually putting in. So when I find these stored places, I'm not releasing them. It's it's holding space with God, with the divine, with the great spirit, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it.
Yeah.
And so the client is actually, they're doing their own healing. I'm just holding space for it.
Okay.
And what happens is that um the vibration of the body, it goes up, it raises. So yeah, so the Ivana method, it's very, very different than the emotion code.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Also, you had written down, so probably our last question, unless anybody
Hmm.
has any other questions coming through, but you wrote down what's the little known reason why the no contact rule is hard to implement? Because that's so true. Some of us, we go through these breakups and we say it's better not to communicate, or people say, well, I still want to stay friends, let's communicate. But why
Hmm.
is it hard to disconnect totally?
Yeah, so that's part of it, is that when we go through a breakup or a divorce,
Yeah.
months later, years later, we can still be energetically connected to our ex.
Okay.
So even though we're no longer physically around them, energetically, we're still connected to them. So
Mhm.
that can influence our thoughts and our emotions and our memories and our ways of being.
Yeah.
I just spoke with a client the other day that I worked with a number of years ago, and she was saying that now she's in a relationship and she's super happy, but she doesn't understand why her ex still texts her and she
Mhm.
still texts him back. And she just can't seem to get her, or to get him, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
out of her head. And she's feeling scared that this is going to impact her current relationship.
Okay.
So I emailed her back and said, well, this is an easy one. The answer is that even though the relationship with him ended years ago, you two are still energetically connected. So that's why he still wants to call you and text you, and that's why you can't stop thinking about him. So that's where the re-exchange of energy comes in place. And like I said, that neutralizes those challenging emotions.
Interesting. It's about just
Hmm.
neutralizing those emotions.
Hmm.
That's amazing. So tell us where people can find you, Nick. How do people get in touch with you if they need help?
Yeah, sure. So I've created a heart-centered breakup toolkit that they can get.
Okay.
And it goes deeper into the heart-focused breathing that we did together. It goes deeper into the daily self-love exercise. And it has a couple of other things there as well. So they can get the heart-centered breakup toolkit by going to cultivatewellnessnow.com/toolkit.
Thank you. And to book an appointment with
Yeah.
you? Yeah. How do they book an appointment?
Yeah.
Website?
So to book an appointment with me, there's a tab on my website that says work with me,
Oh, okay.
and they can get it's a free 60-minute journey to the heart complimentary session
Okay.
where we go in depth into their concern. I coach them on a heart-centered technique to help them to move forward. I also do a little bit of Avana method energy work with them to start to bring balance to their emotions. And the nice thing about that call, really my aim for it, is just to be of service to them. So there's no sales, there's no pitching at the end.
Okay.
If they are interested in working with me, we set up a second call, where we can talk about that.
Gotcha. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your gift with all of our listeners and your techniques. I know it's much needed out there in the world today, and there's so many
Hmm.
people hurting, right? So
All
many.
those, all
Yeah.
those links were put in the chat for anybody watching the show, so they can find them. They can find them right there. So
Yay. Well, thanks,
Great.
Nick. Thanks for being in the show. We appreciate you so much. We're going to spend the next 5 minutes just kind of pulling cards for some of our listeners. If you want to hang out, you can hang out. If you need to
Oh
go, you
yeah,
can drop.
definitely.
Yeah, but I want
Yeah,
to
I'd love to hang out.
Yeah. So we have a couple of listeners. So I pulled from my new deck. So I just want to give a couple of messages really quick. One to Kelly, and then I have one for Sandra. So Kelly, I pulled a card from my new deck. Heaven's Messages is what it's called. And you've got the message called support. And so your loved ones in spirit want you to know that they support your hopes and dreams. You can make anything happen that you set your mind to. So just know you have a cheerleader section on the other side watching over you and really cheering you on. They see your struggles, they know what you're going through, and they want you to know that they're very much around every single day helping you out. Okay. I don't know, Cassie, if you have any cards, did you want to pull a card for everybody too?
yeah.
I'll let you do Kelly next, and then we'll go to Sandra. Thanks, Nick, for hanging out.
So the card.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, for sure. So the card that I pulled was that so this is a moon deck actually, and I love it because you get all the phases of the moon. But it says you're very close to achieving your goal, and that's what this moon. And what I kind of just get with this card is it's just like just make sure that you're keeping your eye on that goal. Just kind of the way all the trees and everything, it's like just focused in. It's just make sure that you're already in alignment. So just keep making sure that all your actions that you take just keep bringing you there.
There you go. I love that. Thank you. The next one we have is Sandra Pecco. So Sandra, again, I pulled one from my deck of cards, Heaven's Messages. So message from spirit or your spirits on the other side, friends and family. I pulled the honor card. Thank you for everything you did to honor me. It was all perfect. So I hope that resonates. Just know that our loved ones see from the other side They see all the things we do to honor them. So all the balloon releases, all the little things you do, like setting a picture out, like all those little things that they really do see. So
And
just know that. Go ahead.
and I know Sandra personally, so I know that message is going to resonate quite well for her. So,
good. Glad it resonates. Yay! Do you have one for her, Cassie?
So the card I got was balance. Balance. And it's the card for the full moon in Pisces. But so it says balance, spirituality, and practicality, and just kind of having, and I'm just going to throw this comment up, just because it's Sandra saying it's her son's memorial this weekend. So, our thoughts go out to you with that for sure. But yeah, just keeping one foot here, and it's, and as I said, I know Sandra quite well, so
yeah,
just having that balance in your life.
There you go. Look, good job. Yeah. And a heart's go out to you, Miss Sandra. Sorry. I think Nikki Pecker was one that I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for her. And the card that I got you from my deck was the forgiveness card. And it says, from your loved ones in spirit. So hopefully this resonates by somebody. Please forgive me for anything I've ever done to hurt you. It was never truly your fault. And so I know forgiveness is a hard one. Sometimes our loved ones leave us without realizing some of the things they may have done to hurt us. But I guarantee you on the other side, they are still learning and they are still growing. And if you ever get a reading, they will pop in and they will say they're sorry and things like that. So just know that they are still growing on the other side. And if they knew now what they knew then, it would have been different. So I want to leave you with that message, Nikki. Thanks. Go ahead.
So the card that I pulled was have faith in your dreams. Mm-hmm. And this is and just what I get from this card is just a very serene feeling, and just kind of, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through practice, just finding ways to kind of bring that serenity in your life, and just kind of releasing and letting go of things.
Yeah, there you go. I love this part. Oh, we still got a few more minutes, so we can pull a few more. So, Shiitake, if I screw up your name, I am 100% sorry. But here's a card for you. I got the signs card, and I love that you got this card. Signs. Look for me in the signs. I am everywhere, in synchronicities, and insects, and birds, and small animals, and dimes, and pennies, and repeating numbers, and dreams. And I know you're on your journey. So all this will make sense for you as you look for them everywhere and you work on all those clairs that we talked about this weekend. So great card for you. Perfect.
Sure. And the card that I got is the new moon in Scorpio. But the message that goes with it is work through your fears.
There you go. So
as things come up and you're like, you feel that hesitation around it, just know that working through those things and facing them and is going to be more valuable for you and help you along your path. Nice.
All right. I think we have CJ, and then I think there's one other one that just kind of commented at the bottom. So I'm going to pull CJ, and then we'll do Chris. Chris wants a card too. So CJ, I pulled the card Earth for you. Very interesting. Your soul was sent to Earth to learn, grow, and feel emotion. Heaven is your soul's home. So I know that sometimes our journey and experience on Earth is never very easy, right? And we all go through things, but I think you're on a path of learning and growing, and you can see things now from a new perspective, and you understand why everything is taking place. And so I just feel that you're continuing to be on this trajectory of learning and this trajectory of growth. So just keep it up, keep soaking it all in. And I think you're coming to the end of that cycle pretty soon. So I would say by next year around this time, there's some big shifts coming your way. So I'm going to leave that with you. There you go.
And CJ, the card I pulled for you is Surrender to the Divine.
There you go.
It's the full moon, which, by the way, we have this month we actually have 2 full moons within the month. So
Do
yeah,
we?
yeah, it's one of the rare occurrences. So
There you go. All right, let's do Chris. I'd love a card, please. So Chris, the card that I pulled from you from my Messages from Heaven deck, free. I am now free from all pain, anguish. I'm filled with pure unconditional love. So yeah, people in readings a lot will come to me wondering how their loved one is now on the other side, and if they take away their hurt and pain with them. And I have to say that once we cross over, we get to deal with all that hurt and pain and release it. That is a human emotion for sure. And we are filled with nothing but beautiful unconditional love on the other side. So if you can imagine feeling what unconditional love feels like, you'd never want to come back here. 100% guarantee that. So just know that they're all good on the other side. All right.
Sure. The card that I pulled is the full moon in Virgo.
Okay.
And the message that goes with it is you are good enough.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
And sometimes believing that and knowing that for ourselves is one of the hardest things to do. And just so here's your reminder.
There you go. Good job. And then Nick, I'm going to pull a card for you. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So I pulled mind. I think it's so crazy you got the mind card because this is what we're all talking about, the mind and the heart and everything in between.
Yeah.
So your message from spirit on the other side is my mind is finally free. So we don't take all of that junk with us, and we're finally at peace and we're finally resting. So I don't know if you've ever lost anybody who may have struggled mentally or emotionally or things like that, but I want you to know that on the other side, all is well. All is well. All right.
I love that. Thank you, Tracy.
You're welcome.
The card I pulled for you is Prosperity Lies Ahead.
Yeah, that's a good card, Nick.
It is the new moon in Taurus. Yeah.
All good things coming.
All good things are coming.
All good things are coming.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I think we're finally coming to the end of our show. It's always bittersweet when it comes to an end. But Nick, we thank you for being a guest, right? And for everybody out there looking, his links are all in the comments. So thank you. For sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Cassie and Tracy. I really appreciate this, and I really appreciate both of you, and just the awesome work you're doing out there.
Just trying to shine some light on the dark, right? That's all we're doing, right? Yeah. So Cassie, where can people find you?
So people can find me at Stargazers Unite. Stargazers Unite pretty much across all social media platforms, and yeah, so I'm here to help light workers with their websites, logos, graphics, banners, all the things.
Yep.
So
and I am the Red Couch Medium everywhere: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, everywhere. Just Google the Red Couch Medium and you'll find me. Thank you again for being on the show. That wraps up another episode of Metaphysical Happy Hour. We'll see you again next time, everybody. Take care. Bye, Nick.